Hello, it's always a pleasure to be with you again for this third CATIA Dual Talk. So welcome, it will last around 10 minutes. And I will cover multiple topics today, but probably some of those topics are not known. It's why I call this, I gave it the name of the CATIA Talk to the best kept secret jewel of CATIA. So, and the idea today is to talk about many reverse engineering, okay? So, we will start first by telling you how CATIA can handle points cloud. You can see here on the screen, there is a points cloud, color points cloud. It's made of 73 millions of points. It has been scanned with a Faro device. So thanks to Faro, by the way, for providing us the data. And this type of data can be handled in both CATIA v5 and 3D Experience CATIA. But we can do much more in 3D Experience CATIA, and it's what I will tell you during the CATIA talk. Then I will talk about some also very nice commands inside CATIA reverse engineering application, both some in v5, some only in 3D Experience. I will also distinguish between what is available in 3D Experience versus CATIA v5. So let's start the journey. Again, it will last 10 minutes. If you can keep your question for the end of the talk, but of course you can also use the chat to write and type down your question right now. And again, hello to everybody. It's always a pleasure to be here on a regular basis, and I will be there again in 2 weeks from now for also very nice new capability of CATIA. So let's start. Okay, you can see here, I imported this points cloud. Today in v5, we are limited to around 100 million of points to be able to handle those. But if you are using 3D Experience CATIA, there is no more limit. I recently, a colleague of mine recently imported successfully in CATIA 4.5 billions of points, okay? So there is no more limit. You can navigate in the points cloud. You can, for example, as a manager or the maintenance program manager of this plant, I will add some annotation. I will make some measurement. Maybe here this 3D annotation, which just the name of the equipment could be, hey guy, please replace it because this is an old stuff we would like to replace. You can make as many annotations you want during the navigation in the points cloud. You can also make some measurements. You can see it's very, very smooth. And it's as smooth with 4 billions of points than with these 73 millions of points. Let's do a measurement. So how big is this height here? Okay, 8 meters. Okay, perfect. So you can also check that, for example, some existing equipment will exist or will fit in this particular area. We can also design, for example, in CATIA, some new structure, and we will integrate this new structure in the actual plant to check if everything is fine. So we can have a hybrid representation, a combination of both points cloud, which is the representation of the assets, what has been built, what is on the field, and of course the CAD model, check if everything's fine. Then you can, for example, design in context. So I would like to extend my structure, but in the context of the points cloud. Here we go. This is a very, very nice capability. More and more in all industries, by the way, transportation and mobility, aerospace and defense, you have this need to combine existing assets, a plant, a shop floor, machining shop floor, an assembly line, whatever, even an office, or obviously an oil and gas plant, for example. Here I will measure the actual deviation between what has been designed and what has been built and which is on the field. So you can see here with the color map, the actual deviation. So the maximum value is around 1 millimeter. It's not big. It's not big. It's a little bit exaggerated because, as you know, the scan data accuracy is around 1-2 millimeters. So we are quite good here in this case. Here you can see that everything looks fine. Only what is red is out of tolerance. And then, nice capability, only available sorry in 3D Experience CATIA is extraction by color. You would like to get just the points representing this big pipe. And of course, there is a tolerance. So it's not the exact red color, but plus or minus red, I would say. And then we can, for example, instead of using the actual points cloud of this equipment, this valve, we can retrieve the valve from the 3D Experience Platform database, the actual data with all the properties of the bill of material of this particular equipment. And then we will position this equipment at the position of the plant and maybe replace this the points by the actual CAD model of this equipment, which was in a catalog of components. We can also, if we want, redesign manually, for example, so for these components. Here, CATIA will manually recognize cylinders, planes, planar surfaces, I'd say, tori, cone, and so you can redesign, but you can also modify very easily those cylinders, those dimensions. And here, I can integrate again my pipe plus my equipment made of equipment coming from the database and let's say pipe design on the fly with a CATIA canonical surfaces recognition capability. Let's do now a maintenance scenario. So from the library, I retrieve a forklift because it will be the forklift that I will try to use on the field, on the actual plant, and I will just double check if this forklift can reach some position to be able to do the maintenance, remove some equipment, add equipment, and so on and so on. So not only measurement, not only navigation, but also maintenance scenario, some reconstruction. And this is something very, very new. So I will stop it, my video. It's very, very new. It's only on 3D Experience CATIA, in the very, very last version of 3D Experience CATIA, by the way, the one which is on the cloud. As you know, CATIA on the cloud is really cool. It's so easy to run, to administrate. So I really, really recommend all of you, all of CATIA lovers, to try once the CATIA 3D Experience CATIA on the cloud. You will never go back to any other release of CATIA. But this being said, you can see here that CATIA will automatically recognize all the planar surfaces. So it's an automatic command. It's quite fast, just a couple of minutes. What has been done here is that CATIA recognizes the planar surfaces and he segmented the points cloud into sub-segments, and each sub-segment will be processed and the surface will be recreated on this sub-segment. What is not recognized as planar surfaces are what is black, what is left black on the screen. So here the segmentation is done. Thank you, CATIA. And what you see here, automatically constructed in gray, are the planar surfaces which have been created for every sub-segment recognized as a planar area. I will just now remove. It's not really planes, it's really planar surfaces, parametric planar surfaces that you can modify later on if you want. It's not infinite plane, I would say. This is what has not been processed. So then you can go to the next step maybe and look for cylinders. This will come in the product very, very soon. It's already available for testing purpose. So let me know if you are interested by that. You see the result is quite nice. It has been automatically created. Of course, you will have some rework to do, but if you have to do that manually, it will take a lot of time. That was for this points cloud manipulation. The ability of import billions of points, this is only in 3D Experience CATIA. The ability to recognize automatically planar surfaces, it's only today in 3D Experience CATIA, not in V5. But the rest, everything I showed was also available in CATIA V5. In 3D Experience CATIA, the app is called CATIA Digital Shape to Surface. And in V5, it's called Quick Surface Reconstruction and Digital Shape Editor for the add-on being able to import the points cloud. Here, it's also a very interesting command. I really like it. It's also a magic command, I would say. Only in 3D Experience CATIA for this one. For example, you are surfing on the web and you are searching for a 3D CAD model, but the website which is providing those free 3D CAD model only provide an STL data. Initially, it was probably a CAD model, maybe designed with other software, maybe designed with CATIA, SolidWorks, but it's just a tessellated representation of the CAD model. So you can download the model, the STL file from the net, and look at what you can do now with this STL file. I will just show the triangles. It's really an STL file, and you can see that it's not a scan data. It's really a tessellation. It's important because, unfortunately, you will see that this magic command does not work today on scan data because it's usually too noisy. Okay, so let's say this is my scan data. Oh, sorry, my tessellated data. And now CATIA will automatically recognize canonical surfaces such as cylinders, cone, tori, fillet, flat surface. You can see here the different color. In fact, in this particular case, we can also aggregate some area to have one cylinder instead of multiple small cylinders. You see here in a blue, it's cylindrical surfaces, sorry, and in red, the planar surfaces. And from this segmentation, there is also this magic command, which is convert this tessellation into a birep. And in a couple of seconds, you get a true solid. It's not a parametric solid, obviously. It's a boundary representation. It's a solid. But now, for example, if you want to use CATIA Natural Shape, which is a very, very nice and cool tool inside 3D Experience CATIA, even if the model is not parametric, you can easily grab some surfaces and move them to secure some area, to change the radius of some area. Here, for example, those cylinders, those holes. You can also add fillet. So you can complete your job. And this is done thanks to Natural Shape on the solid, which has been automatically created from an STL grabbed on the internet. The third nice capability is still the same, because sometimes you can have a huge STL file. If you have such huge STL file, you are not interested to reconstruct the CAD model, but you are interested to locally reconstruct some canonical surfaces, maybe for make later on a dimension, a tolerance, and then maybe the inspection guy will look at the data to see if the tolerance is okay. So here it's exactly the same capability, but we will not select the whole mesh. We'll just select some areas. So you can see there is an automatic propagation. So he found out that there are some planes. We can also look for cylinders. So here, it will create the sub-segmentation just on the selected areas, and then convert this test segmentation into surfaces, cylinders, and planes. And then, for example, you will be able to make a measurement. You will find this, the axis of the hole, the various axes, measure if, for example, it respects some tolerancing. And by the way, the exact same tool can be used in a different way. Let's imagine you have an ISO code. You no longer have the CAD model. You just have the G code, because this part has been milled once and you just kept the G code. Maybe it's a G code of a very, very old part made with before CATIA was existing even. You can now, in our Delmia milling capability, you can import the G code from the stock, which is just a box that you have to design. You can run in Delmia the material removal simulation. You will understand my point. Now I just run my simulation, and after all the machining, I get a representation, which is a STL representation that I can pass to CATIA, run the exact same process that what I did with the first part, and of course create the CAD solid model. So here, the input was a G code, no CAD model. Maybe this G code was generated a long time ago, but the data is very good, the product is very good, and you want to replicate or you want to modify the part. This is quite an easy way. If you have 2.5 axis milling type of part, if it's 3 axes or 5 axes, I don't guarantee the result is as magic as what it is here. But when you have 2.5 axis machining strategy, it works quite well. So again, this was the second best kept secret jewel of CATIA, and this is the third one. You could ask me, Daniel, what is this strange shape? In fact, this is a motion of a human being inside a car and moving out of the car. Okay, so it just you can see here the position of the human being in the car when it is seated, and then he go out, because we would like to do some spatial analysis, but the result of this, of the flow, of the motion of the body is tessellated, and the idea is to get a solid out of that. The magic capability of CATIA digital shape to surface, which is also, by the way, in this case, available in CATIA V5 quick surface reconstruction, is automatic surface. You just click on a mesh and you will create automatically subdivision surfaces. It's very, very fast. You can even control the flow line of the surface, and you get here a complete solid that you can reuse in CATIA and do whatever you want. By the way, for example, you can imagine this is the, you have the envelope of a wheel of a car moving, and you would like to have a solid of this envelope, because then you would like to be sure that there will be no collision between what is around the wheel. And finally, something I will not talk in detail or describe in detail today. I will take much more time in 2 weeks from now in my fourth CATIA dual talk. But I'm not sure you know about that. We have customers doing very, very strange usage of that. I will explain to you next time. It's called CATIA Photo to Shape. It's in most of the roles of CATIA, of 3D Experience CATIA, which are doing surfacing. It's not in V5. Look at what it does. As the name is saying, you just take picture. You can take very high resolution picture if you want to be very accurate. And then you can create on the picture curves. It's not 2D curves, it's 3D curves. So far, of course, it is somewhere flat, but you will see that you can add then later on other picture. You can have as many pictures you want, and from the picture and from the curves, CATIA will help you to design this time 3D curves. And of course, from those multiple pictures, again, you can have many, many pictures. You can have orthogonal views or view with perspective, which is the case here, which is a little bit more complex, by the way. And very, very easily, you can design from pictures the curves that you will use to do a surfacing work, classical surface design with CATIA. And maybe later on, from the surface model, you can add the picture like a sticker to have a more accurate, or let's say more realistic view of the model. And you can imagine, because it's exactly what some customers are doing, that you can use this particular topic to do a competition analysis. But this will be described next time. So for me, it's okay. I am at the end of my presentation. I think I took a little bit more time than expected. Sorry for that. I was longer than expected. If you have any question, feel free. I'm looking at my colleague Anna, and I see that there are 2 questions. Can you mirror thousands of points in one step? Of course. This is just a mirror capability. I can mirror a million of points. That's not a big deal for us. We can do it. Can you use it for mold design? So can you use it? Is it, I guess, reverse engineering? Yes, we can do that. It's also for tooling, not only mold, stamping dies, casting dies, forging dies. Yes, you can also use reverse locally most of the time, or sometimes not locally. I was asked to reconstruct a CAD model of a complete stamping dies because, in fact, there was no CAD model. So you know that we can use virtual to real shape morphing, which was the subject of the talk number 1. To morph actual CAD data to match what has been built versus what has been designed, but you can also reconstruct it. For sure, it's not as short. It takes more time, of course, but you can do the job. I'm checking if I have some other question. Looks like it's okay. So again, thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a very nice day, a very nice evening, a very nice morning, and of course, feel free to continue to attend these talks. I hope you enjoy it. At least I enjoy it. I enjoy to talk to you and present this very nice stuff of CATIA. And again, next time, in 2 weeks from now, I will talk about photo to shape, but also shape healing, not just to repair CAD data, but also to compare very precisely CAD data, and also engineering intellectual property control. Also a very nice tool in CATIA, both in CATIA V5 and 3D Experience. Bye-bye, and talk to you soon.